Hello and welcome to my review of the Raptadon chargers for Seraphon for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. One of these box sets will cost you £40 and consists of 89 plastic components. It's exactly the same kit as you're getting with the Raptadon Hunters. It's just the kit can build either these chargers or the Hunters. And the reason why I have that Seraphon army set box behind them is because they first debuted in that set where you got two units of them. Pretty good. You know, the set was £130. One unit of these is 40. Obviously you've got £50 there extra that you paid for the Slan Star Master, which is £50 separately anyway. The cards, the data cards, the Saurus Warriors and the special edition Battle Tome. So I think that was a really good deal. I think all army sets are a really good deal if they include all brand new miniatures. If there's a couple of units or even one older unit in the army set, your mileage may vary in terms of the value. Anyway, the format of this review is as normal, so I will go through the miniatures, look at the detail, I'll go through all the spare parts, we'll go through some size comparisons, and then I will go through all of their rules, and their rules are a little bit different than the Hunters. So first things first, which I didn't really mention in the Hunters review, and that is they're just a nice kit to build. The Saurus Warriors, a bit of a pain just with mould lines and things. Agrodon Lancers are nice, the Croxigors were very nice. But these are, once you get into building them, I know there's 10 in the set, they can be quite satisfying to put together because the Raptadons themselves are only really in 7 parts. 2 parts of the body, 4 for the legs and arms, and then 1 for the tail. So 7 parts each. And then the skinks themselves are usually in 8 parts with that Starstone dagger thing as well. So you're looking at about 15 parts per model, which yeah, won't take you that long when you put them together, and the mould lines aren't too bad either. Just be careful of the gap that runs along, you know, the join line that runs along the underside of them, but it's nice that it's on, you know, on the underside, not on the top, on the side or anything like that. Anyway, let's have a look at these chargers. The main difference between the Chargers and the Hunters are that the Chargers have these Topek lances instead of the shields and the atlatls, I think they're called, which are like these kind of throwing spears, but they use a different kind of mechanism to launch the spear quicker, a bit easier on your arm and shoulder, I guess. But this is the lance that they've got. Reach, I don't know, like, when I thought about these little skinks having spears, I mean, I guess they could probably reach there, maybe. I want the lance to be just a little bit longer though. Yeah, I've built sort of 3 of them with the lances, including this champion who's very eager to jump off his mount, and because I haven't glued any of these for obvious reasons, because I want to paint them off their mounts. This lance, it's an odd pose, and the only thing to differentiate is that he's got more feathers in his hat, which yeah, is a typical thing, isn't it? Yeah, there's 3 with the lances, and I've actually gone for the other 2 with the bearer and the musician. Now the musician, other than the head, is going to look exactly the same as the Hunter variant, but this standard bearer has a different standard and a different head. But as I said in that review, if you're going to paint them all the same colour, you might as well just build 1 bearer and 1 musician, and then hot swap them in to the other unit if you're going to only use 1 unit, that is, of course. But it's completely up to you. I just went for, you know, musician and bearer in both of the units. Will I get a 3rd unit of them? Probably not. If anything, I'd get a 2nd unit of Agrodon Lancers to boost their number up to 6. But anyway, nice little kit to put together. Doesn't take too long. The real reward though, like with all of the Seraphon, is with the painting. But firstly, before we can do that, let's have a look at the spare parts, of which there are a decent number, and I think you probably predict correctly, that is, that there's going to be a lot of these atlatl weapons about, and spears and things, and yes, there are a fair few on arms and things, quite a lot there. And there's actually, you know, 2 extra lances, which of course would have been the musician and the bearer, a load of shields, which there's no attachments, so they would work well, like just on a base or something as part of the scenery, so that might work possibly. You get the different heads, which are clearly the hunters' heads, and then you've got this different bearer standard. I like the fact that they've given you two different bearer looking standards, I guess, rather than having the same one that you'd use in both units. Size comparisons then. Well, firstly, I'll give you some comparisons with units in the army set. So we have the Slan Starmaster right here, and we have a Saurus Warrior. So it means that they are, you know, the second largest unit in the box set. Slan Starmaster is, you know, massive compared to everything else in the set, and the Saurus Warriors, although they're not small, you know, they're definitely smaller than a skink on a mount. Compared to the Agrodon Lancers though, right here, these are your, you know, Velociraptor type looking unit compared to the, I say, the Dilophosaurus sort of unit of the Chargers there. So I hope that size comparison helps. And then compared to a Croxigor, you just see how big the Croxigor is compared to these. Absolutely massive, and is even bigger than them, and they don't even have a mount. So yeah, hope that helps. Compared to some 40k miniatures, I did this in the Hunters review, of course, but I hope this helps too. You've got Space Marine, which is not even up to the head, barely up to the chest of the Raptadon. We've got Slime Arbo, and then we've got a Primaris, which is, you know, bigger than the body at least. So hope that helps, sort of helps you understand where they size up. Okay, so now we're at my part of the review where I will go through all of the Raptadon Chargers rules. They have the same points cost as the Hunters, which is 150, same unit composition of 5, and the same notes that they are a battle line in a Fangs of Sotek army. You'll find them nestled conveniently right after the Raptadon Hunters on the same page in the book, which is fantastic, and they have the same stat line completely. So their movement is 12 inches, save of 5+, bravery 5, and wounds of 2. Each model in a Raptadon Chargers unit is armed with a Tepoch Lance or Tepoch Lance. The Tepoch Lance is, I want to call it a Teapot Lance. It's a range of 1 inch, 3 attacks, 4+ to hit, 3+ to wound, rend of -1 and damage 1. And their mounts are each armed with Serrated Fangs, which is a range of 1 inch, 3 attacks, 3+ to hit, 3+ to wound, -1 to rend and damage 1. So the same Serrated Fangs as you get on the Raptadon Hunters. But the difference between the Lance and the Atlatl is, of course, the Atlatl is a ranged weapon, which you get 2 attacks, and it has a better rend of -2. But the Tepoch Lance has more attacks. It's a melee weapon, a better wound of 3+, but a worse rend of -1. Champion, 1 model in this unit can be a Raptadon Charger Alpha. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic of that model's Tepoch Lance. Standard Bearer, 1 in every 5 models in this unit can be an Icon Bearer. Add 1 to the Bravery characteristic of this unit if it includes any Icon Bearers. Musician, 1 in every 5 models in this unit can be a Hornblower. Add 1 to run rolls and charge rolls for this unit if it includes any Hornblowers. They both work exactly the same as in the Raptadon Hunters. Cold-Blooded Unity, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made with this unit's Tepoch Lances that target an enemy unit if that unit was the target of a shooting attack made by a friendly Raptadon Hunters unit in the same turn. So that's pretty good. It works very similar to Deadly Cohesion in that you know, they're now getting one for hit rolls, which they need because their hit rolls are only 4+. I would have expected them to be 3+, but it means that if any hunters have shot the enemy unit that the chargers are charging into, it's going to make them easier to hit them. And then the extra ability that they've got is called Geomantic Empowerment. The damage characteristic of this unit's Tepoch Lances is 2 instead of 1 if this unit is contesting an objective or if it is within 3 inches of any terrain feature with the arcane scenery rule. So that's a nice little bonus buff in that it really encourages you to go out and capture those and it really encourages you to go out and contest those objectives, because then you're getting the damage 2 instead of the 1. Keywords: Order, Seraphon, Skink, Raptadon, Raptadon Chargers. So there you go, that's my review of the Raptadon Chargers. I think the best way to use them is with the cohesion with some hunters. Survivability, I mean, both units have 5+ saves, but they do have 2 wounds each. So although you're looking at 10 models, I guess, in a way, you could try and look at them in the way of as having 20 wounds in total for those 10 models. They don't have any invulnerable saves, so again, you're best off using your Star Master or Skink Star Master to buff them, to give those wards and things. But they're a fast unit. They do have a lot of damage potential with their number of attacks, especially if you factor in all those serrated fangs. You're looking at 3 attacks each with the serrated fangs, so you've got 2 units, I guess, charging in of 5 each. You're looking at 30 attacks just with the fangs, not including the 2 attacks for the atlatls and the 3 attacks for the lances. You've got chargers and hunters going into a unit. You've got 30 attacks for the fangs. You've got 15 for the lances, and then you've got 10 for the atlatls. So 55 attacks in total. Pretty good for just 2 units of 5 cavalry, I guess. What do you guys think of the Raptadon Chargers and the Raptadon Hunters? Do you like these? Do you like these dinosaur models? I really do, obviously, and I got them for the channel to show you all. Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Be good to hear from you. Be good to hear your opinions. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching. Lord Croak protects.